You're in charge of that.
Oh, yeah. I have to take an oath.
Clock's 5 minutes slow.
What?
The clock,
Oh, it
that
is.
clock is 5 minutes slow.
I've already replaced the battery in it once. It's 6:30.
Okay, I'll call it to order. We'll go first.
All right, so actually I thought I would ask, did anyone have questions on the plans that were provided before? I mean, I think
I
someone's,
think they were pretty straightforward and
yeah, I think they were
went
too.
along with what you described last time you were here.
Yeah, okay, and all right, so basically, we started out, data collection, survey, wetlands, soils. We went through concepts, we did the concepts, we picked one, and then we went forward with basically construction plans. But the first step is to get FEMA to say okay with the numbers. So what I have here are the cost estimates. Now, the original one was conceptual, but now we got a lot of detail and the numbers are more accurate. So the walls got unfortunately a little bit bigger, but just try to check something, make sure that they got the existing on the back. So I don't know if anybody here wants anything. There's a few extras if you want. Does anyone want one? Yeah, if you want one. Oh, yeah. Validation of parking.
Yeah.
You want one?
Yeah.
Yep. Lucky number 7. I made 7, so I got to hold on to this one. Okay.
So the front page includes the back, right? Incorporates
No, the front page is actually the what needs to be built.
the mitigation.
Yes.
So
That's
they
what
were really additive.
Yeah. Well, the first one is that's the number that you should spend to build it.
Right.
That's based on our engineer's estimate, which uses DOT unit prices.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we have DOT unit prices, and if there wasn't a price, we reached out to local contractors. And, for example, the walls, there's like 3 different prices from 3 different manufacturers. But we picked a number that seems to make sense. And they did go up, by the way, recently, which everything went up. Concrete prices went up, so the blocks went up. So anyway, so 584, 191. Now that tends to be on the, well, I say on the higher side, but things are kind of in flux. They're going up, it's kind of a little bit, but that's DOT weighted numbers. So if you were going to pay a DOT contractor to do it, hopefully that's a little conservative, which is what we want.
Yeah.
Now, if you flip the page, the one on the back is replacing kind. Okay, so that's if you that's 340,000. That's if you just put it back how it was. And what that's about is first of all, what we did to keep it simple is we just took the road from where the road is now down to the other road, and we ran a steep slope down to the river. The borings found that the material was really tight. It was a really packed gravelly sand. So what we did is we put a heavy fee angle, a steep fee angle on the fill, i.e. expensive. In other words, we didn't put cheap fill because it wouldn't stand up. So that's part of how the numbers get where they get. So we used the structural fill for the existing. So the point being, that's one of the ways that we got the numbers to get where they are, which I think is appropriate based on the soils and the borings. So in other words, so 2 times this is more than the construction cost. So that's the criteria for the program. So you're allowed to have up to 100% more than the existing in-kind cost. Now what we did do is we did put, and there was a little bit of guardrail wiped out at the beginning. There was some pipes that were wiped out. So I went ahead and put drainage and guardrail in on the existing. I left us a little buffer. If for some reason FEMA hypothetically said, we're not gonna cover the cost of the guardrail, we'd still be okay. If they said we're not gonna cover the cost, I also added the utility pole, which needs to be relocated. I'd like to relocate it, and I don't know where that is in the process. I'd love to put it on the other side of the river, kind of go down there and then over. Then it's out of the way of everything during construction. And so I put money in for that. I mean, for a 500-foot service, it's like 12,500, for example. I put that on the existing, but that would be paid probably from separate funds by the town. But it's still part of the number, so I added that in there. And I did add a couple easements. The easements are essentially, the money is basically the assessed value of the land, which we've dealt with this, but the assessed value of the land divided by the land that we want to use. So then you have an easement for slope and drainage forevermore. So like the embankment down to the river, I believe that's Nancy
Smith.
So that was no problem. I guess the other one's a little more difficult. How did that work out? Do you think we're going to be able to get that?
No one was there to sign.
No one was there to sign. Okay, there is a way to do it. I've seen it in other towns. It's usually for different reasons. It's usually when you have an abutter that's against the project, doesn't want it. But what you do is, and you may have to have the attorney help you with this, and I only know because I've seen it. So basically, essentially, it's not really doing what it sounds like, but basically, you condemn the property, take the piece that you need, and then give it back. The rest of it's all set. It's a legal process, and I'm saying it's not like it sounds. You're not really condemning. It's a legal thing that lawyers do all the time. So that's one way.
Can we not just have the contractor go in and do what they need to do?
Well,
and then...
the problem is that with the wall, the block is very tight. So I started as far as I could to the left, high, and then worked away to get us room. Remember, and I'm already 2 feet off the riverbank. It's really tight. So we started with the block on our property, but right at the line. So in other words, to dig down, they're going to have to dig over the line a little.
Sure. But they're going to back.
Oh yeah.
That,
so there'll be nothing above ground at the end.
So they're going to do what they need to do, and then they're going to return the property to what it looked like.
Right, and we should know before we go to FEMA. Like I said, I can take the easement off, and the contractors can work it out. We can let them work it out. They do that all the time. They'll say,
will probably end up what we do. That'll
Okay.
probably end up being what we do.
Okay.
Just because there's no way to get in touch with this person.
All right.
We've sent letters, we've sent certified letters,
Went down to the house.
we've gone to the house. There's
Yeah, we knocked on the door. I think someone's renting it, or someone that they
Yeah.
say, do whatever you want, survey whatever you want. We don't care.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what I would suggest is before we, has FEMA seen anything yet?
Nope.
No. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll tweak the. In other words, there's nothing in the end that's going to be exposed on their property.
Yep.
But truthfully, to build it, they're going to have to dig over the line, especially right at the entrance, which I think they probably already have done some.
Yeah.
But whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll take off her easement, and I'll just leave Nancy Smith's easement. And in the end, Nancy's is going to have a big embankment going down the hill.
Yeah.
And I'd like to relocate the utility pole down there, which would probably benefit her long term. It'd be good to have the power down there. And so those are the two things. So if you go to the last page, let me give you this. First of all, I haven't handed these. So this is the set of plans that's existing in kind. And I held these close to the vest because I wanted to make sure, everything worked before so this is the set that goes into the,
And I'll take the extra for Adam.
okay, all right. And then, yeah. So if you go to, for example, the last page,
He's going to use that.
the last page is the easement plan. And, now this one's the existing in kind. So we took the wall off. We just kept the easement because we knew we were going to have to dig over. Really, we're just digging over in the middle, pretty much in front of the utility pole.
Right.
But we just ran a straight line back to the back. But we were going to save those trees. In other words, our work is on our property, but we were just really, I had the surveyors go out and get extra information to make sure there were no trees that were just on our side that were going to be impacted. So we should be good. So you see the cluster of trees toward the back. So what will end up happening is that crosshatched easement will be taken away.
Yep. And then replace.
Yes, actually, I'll hand it over.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Sorry, I just realized I had those extras. So yeah, we're looking at the last page. But so essentially, I'll remove the easement. We'll just let it go. Essentially, like I said, in the end, there's nothing above ground. Below ground, there's going to be some crushed stone and some drainage that happens. It's literally right on. In the beginning, it'll be over the line, probably a foot.
Okay.
I don't think anybody cares, and a lot of times this just gets done. The problem is, this is where I got to. It's not confidential, but it's kind of. As far as FEMA knows, we just gotta be real careful. Because if we show them that we need an easement, don't have it, it shuts everything down. And really, we don't need it, because it's nothing above ground after. It's like more temporary, like, and they don't care so much about temporary, so we'll do that. So that page will get changed on both of these before they go to FEMA.
Okay.
And then, yes, I don't think there's too much here.
Yeah,
This is,
Nancy has signed hers.
so you're set. So that's all you need is that in place. And that also affects the wetland permit. This stuff has to be in place before we can go for it. And that's gonna be an emergency. We're just gonna say, you know, I mean, people can't get to their houses, it's an emergency, and they'll give it to you.
Yep.
So that's not gonna, I mean, the last 2 projects I've done that were like this, we got them in, you know, a week or 3 days.
Yeah.
Actually, the 3 projects, one was 3 days, one was like a week. Yeah, so this set of plans is very similar to the other set of plans, except it's just a slope instead of the complicated wall, you know, the block wall.
And the block wall is what we're doing.
That's what I'd like to do.
This set of plans just shows the slope because that's what was there.
Yeah, and essentially I have weasel words, like I say, and I will read this because it's kind of important, but, you know, over time, Cushman Brook eroded downward through the glacially packed, dense, gravelly sand. What I mean by that is that stuff is really hard. Matter of fact, we couldn't drive piles in if we wanted to, they'd bend. It's really packed. So over time, it ate through that tough stuff, so it allowed a steep slope, way steeper than normal.
Yeah.
Well, now to rebuild that slope, there's no way you could ever do that and get it to stay there without doing something special. And FEMA says we want it in kind. So the note, essentially it says it's not intended to be built, it's just to show the in-kind cost. And then again, they allow 100% more than that.
Is the power going underground or?
No, it could be nice, but that costs like 2 or 3 times more. So all it is, what I would like to do, and you guys can look at it to see. Let's take a look at that. If you go to the, I think it's like the 5th page. No, 6th page, sorry.
So sheet 6.
Yeah. So if you look across Cushman Brook, yeah, I'll wait for you. The sheet 6. Yeah. So I showed a relocated power pole. It's just a concept. Really, the utility company is the one that will have the final say. But what I'd like to do is send it, you know, with a tall pole to the other side of the brook and then come back across because it's all open there. It's away from all, when we build the walls and everything, it'll be out of our way. It won't hurt anything, so that would be a good place. So that's a proposed relocation. It's about 325 feet long. And again, for that amount of service with a pole, it's usually about $12,500. It can go up a little. I don't know who pays that. The utility company might pay it. But I want to put it there because if you were a developer, they would pay it. I don't know, but if you guys get, in other words, I put it on your estimate so you don't lose the money. But if it turns out you get it for free, it just would come off the cost. So that's what we did there. And again, that would make this project work. Like,
And there's just the one pole?
yep, I wish they'd do that now because, well, you guys probably know how that goes.
Have
Yeah.
they yet
They're tough to
moved
deal with.
the,
Nope.
And that one's
consolidated
undermined.
wire
too.
that's
Like I
down?
said, that's undermined. So, yeah, is that what they're living off of now?
What?
The power from the house?
Yes.
Yeah, because that pole is undermined. It's been washed out and it's not really stable. So they ought to, you know, like I said, I guess.
Consolidated
Has
anyway,
anybody
right?
talked to Eversource about it?
Consolidated and Eversource
They still-
and
Has anybody talked to the utility company about it?
10 times over.
We can
Well, I know we
reach out
talked
to-
about the whole pole too, right?
About moving the pole? No.
Okay. But about
Eversource
the,
originally
Because we-
installed another pole, but then lines needed to be moved.
because the lines is what we talked to about, right?
And the pole. Eversource
Okay.
came in and put in a new pole and moved their line, but then there were other lines that were supposed to be moved.
Oh.
And supposedly Consolidated came and they were gonna move lines, but they said they couldn't because they were tangled up with Eversource, which doesn't make any sense to me, which is, I told Adam, I'm like, we can't just call them and say, hey, come and do it. You need to call them and say, hey, when are you coming? I'm gonna meet you there. Because obviously they're not getting it. Someone's gotta go there and say, take it from here and put it over there. Because they're not,
And they're usually pretty good once you get them. Like the guy that goes in the field, if you can get him, you know, he'll work with you. And we'll say, like, we like to put it here. And they'll say, well, maybe I'll move it 20 feet this way because of this. It's all good. Usually they'll do
so
it.
I almost think that, you know, once FEMA approves these and we know for sure that it's okay to do that, that's when we make the call and go to Eversource and say, hey,
Right.
we
'cause then the
we
money's
need
there.
all of that to go over there and then it can go back over there. So we need you to do it and then everyone else can follow suit.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And that's what we've always
And they're not fast, like we've dealt with them.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, it's usually 6 months, and then, but right now you're kind of out of time. And the old joke was, they said someone, I don't know who, from Winterset, they cut the pole. And they were waiting for like 9 months to do a job, and they finally cut a little notch in it and started to tip even more, and then they fixed it the next day. So you just never know. We had one in Windsor too, that the town manager called the governor's office, and somehow it got back, and they fixed that one really quick, after a year and a half of waiting. So it's just foolishness, but they can get poked. You just gotta, once you're ready.
Find the right bear, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, so I mean, as far as the design, you know, when you go in the road, we put a type G catch basin, which is a little moon shape or a little cover shape once rounded. It's in a ditch line where it'll grow grass, so that's the one that comes up.
Yep.
So there's that, and then it just drains to the right. That's exactly where the existing culvert was. And then we have another one on the other end. It goes downhill at about 8% where it ties in. So on the other end, we have a type B catch basin, because someone could ride a bicycle over or something down there. And plus it's real close to the wall, but that one, again, we have a grate, and it would drain to the right. And that picks up the underdrain from the wall. Like the underdrain itself has an underdrain under it, which we combined with a like kind of a French drain under the ditch. We didn't have a lot of room, so we couldn't go real deep with the ditch and back up. So we have a shallow ditch with stone lined and then some riprap under it. And then that's also a French drain that catches the, you know, gets rid of it. So we need an underdrain under the wall anyway. So we combined it into one, and that will take care of any groundwater that gets in there that wants to go to the river.
Without taking the land with it.
Yes, without taking the land with it. Oh, and the whole road is super elevated away from the river. So when it rains, the water goes to the inside and gets controlled and released safely, rather than going over the bank. You know, that's important. I did show a fence, a protective fence on the wall. How it'll work is the fence will go along, but then the wall steps down. So it'll go along and then step down, go along and step down. There's some like filler blocks. Normally the blocks are 18 inches high, but they have 9-inch steps. So probably you'll have the wall, it'll be a 9-inch step block, a 9-inch step block. And then, like I said, you'll see it. And I did chain link coated. You can do like coated green, something like that. We could do a real expensive anodized black, but I couldn't get the numbers to work.
No.
That like doubles the price of the fence. So, but if you ever, you know, and then the pavement, it seems like we make it now, but if they ever screamed, we could take the pavement out, which is like 10,000, and you could do it later. But I think it's going to all work out. And the reason I did pavement, you're at 8% right now, which is pretty steep. I mean, I know you got a lot of gravel roads that are a lot steeper. My driveway is 26%. I didn't build it, but it washes out all the time. And I got to get it paved, but I'm not happy with it yet, so I don't want to pave it. Once you pave it, you're done. But the 8% needs to be paved. So, and the other thing that we're not really, which kind of, it's not confidential, but obviously the state did something at the intersection, okay? So I'm considering that existing, because you got to get from there to there. You don't have a choice. So obviously some of these slopes did get a little steeper. If that comes back up, you go after DOT, because there could be a piece of money that they could need to.
What I've heard is they have to rebuild it. If we get our road fixed before they do their road, they have to build it to
Right.
our road, right?
Yeah, and I understand they asked us to match the grade now, and we should be good. That's what I understood from the original meeting of the project. So they raised it up where they want it. So as long as we meet that grade, we're good. Now,
Did you get the plans of the old bridge? That was
we're doing a lot. There's people working on the new bridge. We're trying to get. We've been in contact with the DOT, and then somebody's working on it. We're trying to get a survey. We're trying to see where the survey. They must have had a survey.
Well,
You do have the old plans?
I got the old plans.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I think we've got a line on the older plans, but we're kind of interested in what they're proposing. But we tried to get it, and so
I
far,
don't think they know. They said it was going to be 3 to 5 years.
yeah, they're really slow. But if we could figure out who's doing it, they may have already done a survey with the temporary bridge, we thought. But then we haven't been able to get it. No one knows where it is. We talked to the head survey guy at the DOT, and he was looking into it. He wasn't sure. You know, we've been playing this game so for a few months. But all I know is if we build it to the grade that it's built to now, the temporary, we're good. But that is a little bit
I'll
up.
ask the engineer tomorrow.
Okay. Who is it?
Matt Cahill,
And he's the district guy or the?
up in Lancaster.
Okay, yeah. Okay. But they don't know. We talked to them. But we're trying to figure out who.
He talks down.
The old plans.
The old plans are in the other room.
Right. But the new plans
They haven't got the.
don't exist, but there
Right.
should be a survey by now, wouldn't you think? I would think. Have you seen anybody out there from DOT survey? No. Well, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. But we were hoping to get it so that we could just check and tie in with everything. It's all good. What I understood is as long as we match the grade, and we will need a DOT. Like it's nothing, but it's a DOT permit just because it's your road ties into their road.
Yeah.
Not just more of a permission,
Yep.
which that's a minor thing. And then we need the emergency wetland permit. Those are the only 2 permits. You're not a shoreline, your stream is, Cushman Brook is small enough, it doesn't need a shoreline permit or anything. So those are the 2 things that we have to get. Yeah, I don't think any of those are a problem. Now, as far as bidding this, like I said, my biggest thing was waiting till FEMA said, yes, the money's good, go. And if that can happen soon, I heard there's a meeting Tuesday. So what we will do is we'll take the easement off, get them stamped, and then if you guys could sign the covers, if you've signed one, like I have single pages, I have one back there for the FEMA in kind. And then you had the other one from before, I think I gave a few. Is that the cover? Yeah. So if I take one of those back, I'll scan them in and put it on as long as you're good with it, we'll put it on the plan set. And that's the set that will go to FEMA.
Yep.
And as
Once you do that, if you just send me the complete set, then I can
I'll send
submit
it
that.
to you tomorrow. You can get it Monday morning. We talked. So yeah, I'll get that to you. As long as, I don't know if there's a lot to go through on the existing in kind. It's just to see what would happen if we tried to build it back. It would fall over, but you know, how much would it cost if we did that anyway? And that's what this is. I don't think there's anything. It's just a simplified version of that, except that's what needs to be done, and this is what, you know, can't be done. But FEMA wants to know what it would be like if they did have it. So, all right, I think we're good. Yeah, let me get that other cover I said over there. Let me get that. If you guys could sign that, and then I have that cover, and you got to make sure I don't know if you vote or anything and say it's okay. But if you guys are good, I'll give you back those plans. They go to FEMA. If they approve it, then all you have to do is say bid it, and I'll advertise. And I mean, there's a little more work. We got a spec book to put together, and you know, we do that all the time. So when we can get it bid. Kurt's the one that told me from the office that you wanted to bid it soon, and the contractors would love that. I just want to make sure your FEMA funding is in place, because if we bid it and there's no funding, it's okay. You can throw out any bids or anything. You as a town have full control of the bid, but the contractors don't always like it if they spend a lot of time putting a bid together and then the funding disappears or something. So let me grab this. So this is just the cover of the plans that you're looking at. Size. And again, all we do is scan it in.
So I make a motion that we approve the plans as presented and as discussed
I'll
in
second
a
it.
meeting today, and sign the cover sheet.
Yeah, and everything was different on this one. It was like custom everywhere. This was not a cookie cutter plan, believe me. Everything was like tight and 100 pounds of potatoes in a 10-pound bag. But we got it to work.
It's a challenging project.
Yeah, it was fun. We like to have some normal ones sometimes, so then these are interesting.
So then you guys will put the spec book together.
Yeah, the spec book and contract documents.
We'll get this stuff over to FEMA on Monday. You guys will put the spec book together. When are you looking at releasing this for bid?
It's up to you. I mean, if you get FEMA's authorization, say Tuesday, and or you can give it now if you want to take a chance, and we can start right away. What is it? Probably sooner the better. I mean, things are going to get busier with the bidding, March, April. So probably the first week of March, maybe 2 weeks out, something like that.
So then if it bids in March, you gotta
Results maybe the end of March.
given 3 weeks to bid, you're looking at April before.
So we'll pick a meeting or something, a day of a meeting that they have to have it here by a certain time. We also take emailed bids. Maybe not this time. No, usually what happens is we get the bids, like say the bids are due at noon.
Yep.
Like we get some in the office and Kurt will print and put them in an envelope. Then we drive them up here so that at the meeting that night, they get all open together.
Yep.
But we can do that. It's just, we just gotta plan it. We gotta make sure it's early enough in the day. Today was great, by the way. The roads are dry. It was fun. That last time, 2 mistakes. I had someone else drive me because I have trouble seeing at night a little. But he didn't know. I grew up in Bradford. I could have come up St. Jay. He got off in following his GPS in Monroe or whatever, in Barnett, and ended up sending us on a goose chase for a long time. Anyway, today was an enjoyable drive.
So do we need to, what's the timing in terms of putting it out to bid? Do we need to approve that?
If you
That's
want
what
to
he
do
was
that,
saying.
if you want to do that
Yeah.
a priori, you can. What we'll do is we'll try to bid it around the first week of March. Could be a little before. I won't make it after because they need 3 weeks or so. It's reasonable. And I think with the funding, it needs to have the 3 weeks. Like if it was just a town job and you were paying everything, we could push them into a week or even 2. And they're pretty good. They pretty much have the numbers together. Matter of fact, a lot of contractors. Well, we talked to a bunch already that know what's going on, especially the guys that do the walls, because we talked to a few of them. You know, make sure the ready rock wall prices, because like I said, concrete's gone up, the blocks have gone up, everything's a little higher. So I guess if you want to agree that I can bid it, well, maybe say pending the FEMA approval, I just wanna make sure
I
they.
make a motion that we authorize moving forward with the bid process pending FEMA approval.
That's perfect.
So that way, as soon as we get that.
I'll second it.
Don't
Yeah.
you need to vote on these motions? Don't you need to vote on these motions?
There's only 2 of them there.
Oh, so you just
Well,
take it
you
as a
should
vote?
technically vote
Well, you said second, so.
aye,
Aye.
and on the other
I
one.
just
I'll
didn't
vote
know,
aye.
you know.
Fair
Thank
enough.
you.
Thank you.
Keep us straight. That's
No,
good.
thank you
Good
too. I
catch.
appreciate, we're moving pretty quickly because I appreciate your help.
Well, yeah, I mean, our resident who has been super, super patient is starting to be concerned. You know,
Give us a
she's
set of
like,
plans.
I already
I've talked to them, I gave her a set of the plans that we had before. I said, we're working on it, it's just, you can only move so fast.
But if it was
and-
not, what for the funding too, we have to do, there's extra steps to get the money. Without the money, you got.
Well, and I don't have any concern over the FEMA funds. I have meetings every week or every other week with FEMA, and the money is there. I mean,
Okay.
they've assured me time and time and time again, this happened in July of last year, the funds are there. So,
Fantastic. And then I will mention one other thing that's not really related, but it happened in another town. You know, we had a road wash out kind of like this. It was along a river, a bigger road. It was like $2.8 million or $3 million worth of work. They decided not to rebuild that road, and they took the money and spent it other places. Now, I'm not saying not to rebuild it, but I'm saying this is just between us right
not an
now.
option.
In theory, you could, eminent domain, take the neighbor's land, and you could go through her field and come down and in, and have a much cheaper design. But you don't need to do that. I'm just throwing it out there because what they would do is they would say, yes, this is the amount of money. We'll give you 85% of it or something, and you can spend it anywhere. And then you build the cheaper road, which is just,
Eminent domain is probably at least a 2-year process.
okay.
Already looked into it.
No, not the condemned one. The one that was like, I've seen that happen like in one meeting. They condemn the property, and then the board votes to take that, and then they uncondemn it after, and it goes back, and you guys end up. It's all right. It's all right. There's another type of, there's a couple different things. But anyway, either way, I just throw that out there because it would be a lot cheaper to build something not next to the river with a cliff. Although I'd love to see the cliff built because that's more interesting. That was a fun design. So. Anyway.
We agree.
All right. Well, fair enough. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And if I could get the 2 covers, then we got this one, and the other one's right under it. And I'm good. So we'll get this thing to bid. We'll be in touch next week. And so it should be all set on Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, no problem.
Let
I'll
me,
get to visit my dad in Bradford.
let me see if I have them sign your check so that you can take that with you.
Okay.
Before you leave, I'm sure you don't want to sit here all night, as interesting as that may be.
No, I appreciate it. Oh, and again, I think I told you, but FEMA, we won't ever be that high, but FEMA allows 26% of construction costs, which the big companies always gobble that up. We don't do that. So we're more, 10, 12 at the most, probably less than that even, but depending on where it ends up. We just bill hourly and, that's all we need. I don't need any more.
So you guys will send me the drawings with the signature pages, and that's what I'll be sending to FEMA.
Yeah, I'll have Kurt do, now that I have these, tomorrow he'll do that. He'll have them Monday morning.
Okay.
And they'll be stamped. I don't think I stamped the other ones. I was waiting for you guys to say okay. But remember, I think you said someone wanted to look at them for a while, so we gave you some sets to have for a week or something.
Yeah, and then it was discussing it, like, who really at this table is gonna question
Well,
a
okay,
professional
fair enough.
engineer, licensed engineer?
No, I appreciate that. But it might be something qualitative, not quantitative.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of argument that's tough. When someone says, let's use 3 blocks instead of 6. Well, we need 6 to hold the ground up. So
Yeah.
that's all right. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And have a good night.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Let me just see if I'll take one back from here.
I mean, depending, and I can let you know, because we'll discuss it here, depending on when that gets out to bid. I think we have a regular meeting, I'm trying to look at it.
On March 4th.
The 20th, it should have been the 17th, so March 3rd, March 17th. We would have a meeting on March 31st.
Actually, we could do that. We'll just figure that out, make sure that the bids are in and here. Usually we open them and read them aloud at the meeting.
Yep.
But you can open them, I can open them, but it's gotta be in a public setting.
Yep.
So we, like I said, if we say they're due by noon, why we do that is they can email a bid. And all we do is we don't really look at, we print it and put it in the envelope.
Yep.
But then I've gotta get them to the sealed envelope here, so it's with the other ones. And you're, depending on who's bidding it, you'll probably get more bids if you do that. Depends if you, like, we have a list. If you have a list, we'll talk. But if you have a list you want to add,
No,
we have a
we
bunch of people that we know that are very good up here. And
Put it out for public bid, and then there's no preferential anything. It goes out for public bid, the best number with the
qualifications.
qualifications,
Excellent.
You have a scope meeting, you make sure that they're bidding what you're asking for and the price is solid, and you award the contract and get them working.
Yeah, and just remember too, the select board, you guys are the boss. In other words, you can throw bids out, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
We put all the legalese in it so that you're protected.
But you're gonna review them to make sure they're.
Absolutely. When we do get
maybe
them, I'll
the
be
scope
here.
or that they're
We read
qualified.
them, so that the first night is the parent low bidder. And then by the next day, I'll have gone through everything and we can say, yep, their insurance, everything's good. And then that goes to the next step and then it's awarded to that bidder. And then there's a authorization to proceed, a notice of award, and a contract. So you'll sign all three documents and then it's into construction.
Yep.
And we'll have all that paperwork is in our contract documents. So it's kind of like forms that you fill out and sign. So.
How, if I could ask, and I won't hold you to this, because obviously it's weather depending, how long are you looking at for a construction schedule?
Depends who gets it. I mean, if you get someone, which believe it or not, they're huge, but sometimes they're very cheap, and I don't know what you think about it, but AJ Coleman is fairly local, okay? And if they want the job, they'll like buy it almost, but they'll come in and be done probably 6 weeks or something, or maybe quicker. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff to bring in and get the base ready and then the walls, but they build the Ready Rock walls, they install the Ready Rock walls. So they have some
control
advantages.
their own schedule.
Well, they have some advantages. Plus, they do concrete. There's a leveling pad under the walls, concrete leveling. They have concrete. They have the concrete blocks, and they have the earthwork. They have a quarry. They have a gravel pit.
They
I'm just
control
saying
their
that
own schedule.
they have some advantages. There's other people up there, but they have to buy stuff from people like Coleman. So I don't know. We'll see. They did help us with because the price of the blocks is all over the place. So they helped us dial that in. They didn't give their best number, but they gave a number. So that was what we used for the FEMA, because that's a real number. And they might come in a little less because they have control of the market. But I'm just saying, someone like that could get in and get out in no time, 4 weeks, easy. Maybe 6, but like I'm saying, something like that. If you get a smaller contractor, they can certainly do a good job, but it might take 3 months. So you just don't know until we have to see who wins it. But I think the bigger guy might. It's a difficult project. I mean, it's small, but it's just a lot of stuff. So I think someone like Coleman with the horsepower might be the one that wins it.
So
Or someone Winterset, maybe some of the different ones.
in the
like that.
specifications, are you going to put something in there for an anticipated completion date? Or you leave,
We
do you leave that open?
will. We'll be in touch on that. We could probably talk. Actually, I should know that. I'm not going to talk to you for a week, right? So
No, I'll talk to you Monday.
Oh yeah, no. I'm saying these. Yes, we will pick a completion date. The other thing is we like to put teeth, so we might say $250 a day. Let me. Can I do that? Can I do that administratively, or do I need to come back to the board to do that?
I'm not sure. I'd like to say it's part of the project specifications.
Yeah, and like I said, I know from experience, if we don't put a deadline, you're screwed because they'll take other jobs and keep bumping yours.
That's
If you
right.
want this done quick, we put $250 a day. I mean, fair would be probably 3 months. That would be a fair time. Someone else could do it in half that time. The other thing is we probably don't want to get into this. You can give bonuses. Like that was if you finish, I don't know if that would work with FEMA as well. But that's incentive things too. If they get it done quicker, they can get something, or they get the punishment if they're late, or they get a reward. But we probably won't go down that road. That's another set of specs. But I would just say like $250 a day, I think is good for something like this. It's important.
Well, the sooner the better. I mean, if we're not starting construction till May, then you're looking at August. And I don't think that they're
Right.
It's
We
not
had to
gonna
get
work
it.
for
We had to
them.
get it a little earlier.
I mean, you're looking at over a year without it being able to get their vehicles in and out. I don't think that that's gonna fly.
Right. So do you think?
I'm just,
But do you think? Like, are you okay with 90 days? We could go a little quicker, but constructed within.
I
mean,
think 90 days is sufficient. I mean, if they've
And then the
got
question
a
is whether they
decent
want to start
workforce and
before.
they've got the equipment, they've got the people, I don't think 90 days is.
Let me peek around a little bit and talk to see
see what
availability
people are
and
thinking.
see what people are thinking, and then if they say they can get it done, but this by quickly before. I mean, mud season's coming right up, so if they want it at the end of it's April, it's already mud season when that happens. So they probably won't get going until after. Is that a state road?
135?
It is.
Yes.
So there's no mud season on that road.
Well,
They're gonna love it.
they're,
No, I'm just saying they're looking for work off of DOT roads. Do they post it?
they do, but they don't post it everywhere. They usually post it this way. They don't always post it from Littleton.
Well, I guess that's what we'll see, because one of the advantages, a lot of contracts, if it's on a DOT road, they do really well because they can't go anywhere else until after mud season.
All the more reason to get it.
Quickly, yes. So, all right,
I know
thank
they
you.
posted it last year.
Did they?
I'll
So
talk. I'll
depends
see
on
what
the
we
weather.
depends on the weather. All right, well, I'll see what we can find out. If it happens to not get posted, everybody's going to want to be there working immediately. So that's a good thing. So we'll find out. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a
Thank you.
I'm just trying to keep.
Okay.
Stroking out. I talked to her last week and she said
What's going on?
it's the middle of February. What's going on? Checks. So Joe Beth already signed paychecks, but everything is here for you to look through. If you want to.
You can just take it off the top if you want it.
What's that?
You can just take it off the top if you want it. Leave them all in the pile. We can move.
10th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minute.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Ready to vote?
Aye. I said
Oh,
aye.
I didn't hear you, sorry. Hearing's not very good.
Non-publics 1 and 2 from February 10th.
I think this is the one that should have been in public,
Yeah, that minute,
so,
that should have been.
so we should. I'll make a motion on the non-public number 1, February 10th, to approve the minutes and to unseal the minutes.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And did you have a third?
I do.
I'll make a motion to accept the non-public number 3. All in
I
favor?
will second that.
Was that legal?
Yes. legal slash personnel.
And then here's non-public 1, 2, and 3 from February 3rd that I did not have with the regular meeting minutes for that date.
Make a motion to accept minutes 1, 2, and 3, non-public.
I'll second that.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Here's a contract, the annual maintenance agreement for CAI Technologies for our interactive tax maps.
I make a motion that we approve the annual contract
Second.
with CIA for the Access GIS tax maps.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
page the warrant for, town meeting.
So the one that's not on there that we talked about was adding a fee to vehicle registrations. Remember we talked about adding a $5 fee to vehicle registrations,
Yeah,
putting it in a maintenance thing. The regs say you have to have a public hearing at least 15 days, and not more than 30 days before town meeting. And 15 days would be Monday, and we'd have to post it 7 days in advance, so we'll have to wait till next year for that.
Okay.
So I talked to Jeanette, let her know we couldn't comply. I make a motion that we approve, and sign and post the,
I had a problem with 9 and 10. I mean, why are we asking for that much more?
so that when we discussed it in one of our working sessions, we went with the same amounts that had been done in previous years. And I think the thought, this is the legal funds, capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
I think the thought when we started doing it 2 or 3 years ago, when did we do it? How many years ago? 2 or 3 years ago at least, was that with the prospect of Cassell and Link still coming in, Bethlehem had spent a lot of money on legal bills, so it was getting funds set aside if we encountered them.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Hmm?
Why are we asking for that much more though?
This goes into a capital
Yeah.
reserve fund, so it sits there from year to year, where our appropriations are for 1 year. This is like building up money in case we need it.
Right.
I
These are the warrants that we went over and said that we were going to have on, that we were going to pull into this year from last year, when we went over all of them.
and we went over each of them individually.
I don't know
I mean,
if it was on the.
This will be voted on separately,
Right.
so it might pass and it might not.
Right. Yeah, that's a capital reserve,
Right.
so it has to be voted on at town meeting.
Okay.
Are you okay?
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Okay, because this has been approved by DRA, it's a full process. Okay, and did you say number 10?
Well, now that you explained it,
Okay, okay. And number 10, we agreed to put it on
Yeah.
here too. Okay, the solar panels. All right, so I made a motion to approve the warrant for town meeting.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And here's the proposed budget. It differs slightly from the one I sent yesterday. I resent this one today, once I spoke with DRA. The only difference is, there's $82,000 that was added to our revenue, which decreased the amount needed to raise. Decrease the taxes to be raised by that amount.
And that's the revenue that we expect to get to offset the solar panels.
Correct.
signing that though.
Why are you not comfortable signing that? That's the budget that we did in the budget hearing,
Yeah, I know.
that you guys agreed to approve in the working session after the budget hearing.
Yeah, but I've looked at it more.
Okay. Well, the budget gets, just like these warrant articles, the budget gets voted on at town meeting. So what is it on there that you're not comfortable with?
Well, the legal cost for one, going up so much. Like Carol brought up.
Okay, so that can be amended at town meeting. The MS 636 is basically just a document that DRA reviews and calculates the net amount of taxes that need to be raised based on the estimated expenditures and the estimated revenues that we provided. The budget still has to be voted on and approved or amended at town meeting. So this doesn't finalize anything. This just says this is what we had at budget hearing. This is what was approved at budget hearing. That's what that document essentially is.
And if we change it now, don't we have to hold another hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We won't have time.
Yeah, you
And
can't.
we have to post this by Monday.
Yeah, you
Which it has to
can't
be
make.
signed and posted, it has to be approved by DRA before we can sign
Right.
and post it.
So if you wanted to change it at the budget hearing is where you would have changed it. You can't just change it afterwards without having another hearing. Which is why they allow you to make changes, modifications at town meeting.
Well, by signing that, the taxes are gonna go up by quite a bit.
That has to be, it has to be voted in and approved at town meeting. So that is just stating, by signing that, you're saying, this is what we discussed, this is what we presented at budget hearing, and this is what we agreed at budget hearing. It still has to be approved by the town. So nothing is solidified until town meeting and vote.
Okay.
You're signing that saying, this is what we discussed, this is what we presented at the hearing, and this is what we agreed to present as the budget at town meeting. It can still be amended at town meeting.
Okay.
That's basically what that document is. This is the budget we're presenting. That's why it's I don't know if you noticed on here, I think it's warrant number 2, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,200,886 for the general town operations.
Okay.
That's the vote on the budget. At that point,
That's
it can
the
be amended.
appropriation on that.
Yep.
That's the number
Yep.
in there.
So you're not putting anything in stone.
Okay.
And I think the thing to remember is that there is some money in the appropriations. Like I'm thinking about $100,000 for the equipment in the highway department. About $53,000 for the equipment, $53,000. Another $52,000 or $53,000 increase in highway salaries. And a lot of that we should be able to get reimbursed from FEMA. So even though it looks like the appropriation and the net is bigger than usual, we're not able to show the FEMA money because that's will be unanticipated funds, even though we know it's coming. We don't have the amount, so we
Right.
can't put it in the revenue. So I think in reality, it doesn't look as bad as.
And at the end of the year, when we go to set the tax rate, I don't know if you remember or not, when we started to set the tax rate, we had to say, okay, what are our expenditures to date? What are our revenues to date? That way we could say, okay, we're in line with where we think we're gonna be, or we've spent less, we've spent more, we've received less, or we've received more. That's where the FEMA money will be recognized. It has to be done in a public hearing for unanticipated revenue. But then it gets recognized as revenue.
Okay,
So for example, we just got that check for 43,000 from FEMA.
so that's gonna be in a public setting that.
We have to do a public hearing for that and say unanticipated funds, this is where it's going.
I'll make a motion to sign the MS 636.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. That's 636, not 686. For the-
Oh, did he say 686?
I thought I said 636.
Oh, my hearing is getting worse. I'm sorry, I apologize. And we have to, put an ad in the paper about the town meeting, do we? I don't remember on that.
I think, no, I don't think we do. We have to post the warrant in 2 public places, one of which must be our website if we have one.
Right.
The other one can be the newspaper. But I think we do usually put it in the newspaper,
Yeah, not the whole warrant, but just a
just a
a notice.
Yes, for the town meeting, yep,
And that's really the town clerk does that.
yes.
So the select board doesn't have any role in approving it or anything, is what I'm getting at.
Correct. Yes,
But I'm just trying to remember all the things that need to be done.
got it. Thank you, because,
Well, with all the FEMA stuff, there's a lot going on.
So with retirement, and now that we're in retirement, the retirement plan, it allows me as an employee to go back and ask to recoup the time that I've worked here that we didn't have the retirement plan. Apparently there is an option where the town says that they are willing to purchase service credit on behalf of me or not. I don't care which one you guys do. I think what it is it basically says that you guys would pay the contributions for those missed time, just like I have to pay the contributions for that missed time. I don't expect you to do that, but I can't even submit this to get an estimate from New Hampshire Retirement Systems without that box being checked, one or the other, and someone signing this.
And this is going back,
This is going back to July of 2022 when I started.
okay.
So it just allows me to say, hey, I worked 2 additional years. So it allows me to recoup that. I have to pay into the system in order to recoup it. This is just asking if the employer would contribute to the system. And like I said, I don't expect you guys to do it, but I'd like you guys to just check a box and sign it so that I can find out from them what the estimate's gonna be for me to pay, so I can figure it out if I can do it or not. I didn't check a box for you guys.
And so we don't know, what it would be for the town to pick that up.
Well, it's probably 13% of my earnings per year. So it'd probably be $18,000, give or take. So, like I said, I don't expect you guys to do it, but it's something I wanted to look at for myself.
Yeah.
so.
It's a hard one, because, we haven't budgeted or planned for it. I definitely think we should sign the form for
Yeah.
the,
Just check the box, no, I'm okay with that. I mean, I just wanna move forward with it and see what my option is.
do we sign?
Down here,
Yeah,
Certifying,
there's a print, somewhere to print and then somewhere to sign,
Yeah,
certifying.
certifying with author name and then signature.
Cause I don't think I can sign it even though I'm the managing,
It would be a conflict if you signed it for yourself.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that would
why,
not be good.
thank you. Joe Beth already mentioned the 43,000 we got from FEMA.
We also got, emails from FEMA too.
Yeah.
And I was going to print them out, I didn't, I'll probably bring them up.
Was it on the new projects that they entered?
no, it was on the check.
Oh, yes, I sent it to you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I sent
The,
it to
the
you.
check, right, but we got, the select board got a letter from FEMA about,
Oh. I thought you were talking about the check.
no.
While you're looking at that, can I bring this one to, I got two other small things to bring up.
Sure.
The first one is, I've been asked, actually, Robert Bleckel from the Caledonia Record asked if there was going to be a candidates forum this year. I told him that I didn't know of anything being planned, but that I would ask. Is that something that we want to do?
We did it last year, but we didn't have full participation. And then there was kind of another one that was held. It seems like we should have one for the whole town if we're going to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be a good idea to let people meet the candidates and things. I don't know if the candidates would be willing to participate.
Yeah, I mean, last year I just sent an email out to everyone who put an email on their declaration of candidacy form, and everyone was invited. So I don't know if that's something that we
But
want
we-
to entertain. I told them I'd ask, so.
And we had somebody moderate it too.
Yes.
So I mean, there is some planning and organization that goes into it and publicizing it.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, Eric?
I don't even know what it is.
It's a time for the people who are running for town offices
Yeah.
to, I think last year, the one that was held here in this building, there's somebody moderating it. People could send questions ahead of time, or they could come that day and ask questions of the candidates. And so it was an opportunity for people in the town to get to know a little bit more about candidates for positions.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, at least then people who want to ask questions come and ask questions.
Do we want it moderated like that, or more of just a meet and greet, or?
I don't don't know. Why don't we ask some of the people here? I don't know.
I don't either.
Thoughts?
No, I think it's good to have a meet and greet. I mean, because there are a lot of people running that, for, how many, 6?
8
8.
for the committee.
And
There's
people don't
8.
even know who they are. There's Joe Beth, she's known because she's a selectman, but, is it Sean?
Sean.
Yeah.
John.
Sean. You know, and then we have, planning board members, right? Do we have new?
Tom and Emily.
Okay. Emily's known because she's already on the planning board, but you could still come. But, you know, maybe host it over there. Allow people to come and ask questions. And the problem is it could be an all-night thing. So what we did was we tried to find a neutral person that could gather all those questions and make it one question instead of the same person asking the same question and the next person asks the same question,
Right.
which is what happens
Right.
if you don't have some kind of moderator saying,
Paul's not right, it's going to be up to the candidates themselves, if they participate or they don't.
Yeah, and that's-
You know,
yeah.
That's.
And that's how it was last year. I mean, everyone was invited.
And if we, gather questions ahead of time, I think that, you're right, it helps. Was it Betsy who did it last year?
Betsy Manzelli did it last
Do you
year.
think she'd be willing to do it again? Or is there another suggestion?
Gull did it the year before.
Hmm?
Gull did it the year before.
Or Carl? Maybe that was 3 years ago.
I think that was during COVID.
No. Yeah, and Carl did but Gull did the questions. She just gathered them all and
Okay. Yeah, and
made them.
I think she did that during the planning board master plan meeting.
yeah,
I think it's a bad idea. I mean, it's never a bad idea to be able to ask someone questions and get answers. I never.
But we're
seen
running
this.
out of time if you're gonna.
I know, that's what's.
So
going through
it
my
might
head
have to
is
be
the-
come meet and greet, ask your questions. I don't know.
To the candidates and.
Do we want to do we want to try and do something? Do I need to try and contact people? Do you want to pick a day for it and say we're doing it on this day? Make it if you can.
Yeah, 'cause today's the 20th already.
Today's the 20th.
Because we only have 2 weeks,
It seems like it should be done.
very soon.
I just get confused as far as like talking about I thought it kind of did have to be the select board or somebody saying it because I thought you couldn't have political use
It's not though. You can't have any signs in here.
Right.
There are certain rules, but to meet and greet, it's not political if you invite everybody.
Right, okay.
To invite,
No,
right, I
it's
think if it was just, some people, then yes, that would not
But if
be
the select
appropriate.
board was campaigning for one person, put it out there with their sign,
That'd be wrong.
that would be against the rules. You know, maybe people want to prepare a paragraph about themselves for that night, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I mean, is 1 week enough time to pull it together, or should we look at the first week in March?
Yeah, and I think if the people who want to participate put together some kind of like little paragraph, this is why I'm running, these are my,
Would it make sense to do it like on a Saturday morning?
no.
No? I'm just asking.
I mean, if we did it on a Thursday night, we could do it next Thursday, which is the 27th, or we could do it on March 6th, which is just a few days before the,
March 6th wouldn't work for me.
okay.
The 5th and that week is the 5th and the 6th and the 7th are bad. Sorry.
I mean, it seems like if if we're gonna have it next week, like next Thursday, the 27th, that's not a lot of time to pull this together. I think
No,
we should have been
not.
talking about this
We don't have a lot of time, or
2 weeks
there
ago.
isn't a lot of time.
Well, we have a regular meeting on well, we wouldn't want to do it after a meeting.
We have a working session, well, the 24th would be not enough time. And then we've got a regular meeting on the 3rd.
Right.
And the night before town meeting is not good.
What does Bethlehem do? Bethlehem does theirs every single year. I think it's like 3 weeks before.
Littleton just announced doing one.
But Bethlehem is the one that originally started having meet the candidate.
I mean, could we do something in a week? Could we pull something together?
I think we'd be pushing it.
That'd be pushing it, but
But
if we
it still
can't
gives
do it the
people the
following week,
opportunity.
then
We've got a lot of elderly people that ain't gonna go out at night.
sorry, I'm having trouble hearing.
She said there's
Yeah, got a lot of elderly people that won't go out at night.
elderly people at night.
So that's where Saturday morning might
You
be
want
better.
to try maybe Saturday morning will be good. Like mid-morning, not 8 a.m. or something.
Like 10
but,
or 11 or something, right?
yeah.
So we could do it like a week from Saturday, which would be March 1st.
I'm open from 9 to noon.
You what?
I'm open from 9 to noon.
You mean here or?
Yep.
You personally, okay.
But if we do it at 10 to 11, that time you'll just be finished in time.
Well, it's
Is that a good or a bad thing to have you, I mean, you wouldn't be able to participate fully, but
Well, if you're open 9 to noon, and then you have it at noon,
And it's closed and you can participate.
Yeah, whatever.
You just take questions at the window.
Right. If anyone has questions for me, I mean, people come in and ask me questions all the time.
I know.
I mean, I'm okay with noon on the 1st. Tom, Emily? You don't want to commit?
We have somebody that will bake cookies.
I don't think you want my cookies.
Not a baker, Emily?
I'm not a baker. I can make granola bars.
Well, you can always buy them.
you're not bribing people with the cookies.
All right, Tom, what's your ante? Come on.
No cookies, no baking, no food. Sounds like bribery to me.
I'd be okay with March 1st at noon.
Okay.
Okay.
You have any idea if Sean's be able to do it?
I would have to ask you.
So you guys want me to send something out March 1st? Noon?
Yeah.
Noon.
Yeah.
I'll send it out to the candidates and see who can do it. I mean, if you get 1 or 2 people, it doesn't make sense to do it. You gotta,
No. And, maybe after you find out they'll do it, say, maybe you want to put a paragraph together about why you're running, a little something about yourself. Don't tell them that first, because then everybody won't do it.
well, I think anyone would be able to just sit here and say, this is why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Instead of putting together a paragraph. I mean, if they want to hand something out, I guess they can, but.
Or what if the board was, except for Joe Beth couldn't do it, make up a list of questions. But Joe Beth is running, so that's not going to work either.
All right, I'll find out. Thank you. My last thing. Sorry.
I did find, can I read this?
Sure.
So this came from Jessica Keller. So, good morning. I hope you're doing well on this chilly Tuesday morning. My name is Jessica Keller. I am a program planner for New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I have been partnered with FEMA to work with your town in trying to help Dalton recover from the damages that were caused between July 10th and July 13th of 2024, declared as DR 4812. I am writing to you this morning to express my sincere appreciation for the hard work and dedication your town administrator, Jeanette Sharon, has shown in working with FEMA and the state through the public assistance grant process. Navigating the complexities of any state or federal funding can be difficult and exhausting. Let us not forget that we are asking town administrators to wear multiple hats by maintaining their regular duties while also becoming a temporary project coordinator. It can be overwhelming to some. Jeanette makes it look flawless. Her hard work has not only helped secure critical resources, but has also reinforced your town's ability to recover and thrive. Regardless of how big or small our ask is, she has continued to go above and beyond to ensure that your community receives the necessary support and funding, and she does it with a smile on her face. I just wanted to take this opportunity to publicly recognize and commend Jeanette for her commitment and positive attitude. I know this may seem like a small thing to bring to your attention, but I felt it necessary. Jeanette is dedicated to the well-being of your town, so I felt it only fair to recognize that dedication. I also received an email from Mickey Staplebein, who works in mitigation for FEMA. Mickey and I have had many conversations after meeting with Dalton about how great and easy it is to work with Jeanette. He was absolutely blown away by how detailed and organized her mitigation workbook was for Blakesley Road. Just one of the many, in caps, examples we could point out. So again, I just wanted to take time out of my morning to recognize the work Jeanette is putting in. Dalton is lucky to have someone that cares as much as she does. I look forward to continuing to work with Jeanette and FEMA to get Dalton back to its pre-disaster beauty. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Sincerely, Jessica Keller. And she attached the email from Mickey Staplebein. Okay, thank you. Hi, Jess. Hope you're well. I wanted you to know that Jeanette, the town administrator, the town administrator for Dalton is hands down the best applicant I have ever had the pleasure of working with. She has compiled an extremely efficient, detailed list of all the mitigation items per site for Blakesley Road. Her attention to detail cannot be exceeded. So many times, the applicants are under so much pressure to maintain their daily duties as well as give us the information we constantly request. I know that must be difficult to say the least, and I wanted you to know that she has exceeded any expectation. Thought you might enjoy knowing that she is excellent to work with and has done an exceptional job. Always nice to have some good news. Thanks, Mickey.
Nice.
So I want to say thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nice.
It's nice to get.
Can that be posted to our town website?
I think I don't know why not.
With meeting minutes, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, I submitted finally got the Blakesley mitigation plan done. So we went from $500 and some thousand up to, I think, 1.2 million in available funds to rebuild the roads and do the mitigation. So, I mean, we pay 25% of that, but where else are you gonna get $1 million+ worth of work done for $300,000?
And just in terms of keeping the roads in good shape going forward, that's huge.
Yeah, so that mitigation plan got approved. So, just have to-
And was it 43,000 the first installment of that?
Nope, the 43,000 is the first, or that's what we're, our portion, or the 43,000 is the portion that FEMA is paying us for Ekman Engineering on Smith Road.
Okay.
And I think we've spent maybe 30 at this point, 28 maybe at this point, so.
Okay.
So we should start to see some Blakesley money now. Hopefully.
Good.
The last thing I had here was, Ron needed to know what select board member was going to be available next Wednesday to participate in the call for the hazard mitigation meeting. Since we're redoing that plan, Wednesday, it's on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, between 2 and 4. And there are a bunch of dates that have been set aside for it.
So that's the 26th?
Yes. It may last the full 2 hours, it may not.
And is it remote?
I believe so. I don't know if it's gonna be a Zoom call or a phone call.
Zoom.
Okay, so I think Ron planned Zoom, she
Zoom,
said.
okay.
I believe Ron plans to come here, but I don't think that everyone has to.
There's only two of us, so,
I could probably do it
on a Wednesday?
Hmm?
Wednesday?
on that Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, so I'll let him know, Joe Beth, that you'll be.
Yeah.
The
And my
select board
preference is-
representative.
And if I can do it on Zoom from home, that would be
I don't see why not.
my preference, but let me know.
We'll just have to send the link.
So do we need a motion? Because there are more meetings after this, so we don't have to, probably you could have continuity.
For you to always do it,
That's what I'm asking.
probably be
Okay.
easy.
And
So
other board members could join in if they had to,
If they wanted to.
because it's kind of like that match. The more people who participate in the town, the more the match is.
Yeah, our 25% contribution can be in time.
It's actually human bodies.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
don't
so-
really need anybody, one person designated?
Huh?
No, you need,
We need to have at least
bodies
one.
at each meeting,
Okay,
bodies total. So not like you do it this time, he does it that time, it's different because it's 2 different bodies, it's total. So
so we
she's saying
need one person consistently there from meeting to meeting and then more as
if they want
available.
to.
Okay,
You know, usually the highway department gets involved.
depending on the topic.
So is that gonna be you then, Joe Beth, or are you guys gonna?
I'll make a motion to volunteer to be the select board contact person or person, but then but everybody else should
Yeah.
participate as they can.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's what we have. Until we get to new business. Oh, sorry.
Do we have any more on the voting systems?
So I was,
That's what the first,
I was just waiting for him to
Oh, sorry.
go down the agenda
the
instead of me
HB
just.
1264.
So I sent the ballot now that we knew that, now that we found out that that one warrant article wouldn't be on it. I sent the ballot and, I believe that she sent the file that needs to be downloaded and then loaded onto the tablet, so I have to do that. It was pretty quick. I mean, she turned it around in less than 24 hours, but our invoice will be $600, so, yeah.
Conservation, nothing. I didn't make it to the planning board meeting. Anything happen, Chris?
Bring my notes.
Was, under canvas there?
No, but essentially, I mean, they zoomed in, and I think he just wanted to make make sure that, you know, because we granted granted said everything would be okay with them starting to build, as long as they got all their permits from the state, you know, all that had to go through. And I think he was worried that then there might have to be an additional thing that we make sure.
Number 7, weren't it?
Yeah. And then something about if they had any major changes. But it sounds like, I mean, we told them that, no, it was fine. We expect all the state stuff to be there. And yes, if there are major changes to their plans, then of course they would have to come back to us. Not minor, not like this tent that goes here versus there, where, you know.
So is it gonna be open this summer?
Yeah, it wants to be.
I think that, I think we're talking about August. I don't know how open it will be.
I think they said 40. I thought they said 40
Yeah,
tents
I
for the
was thinking,
first
you know
season
what,
or something.
I think they did say 40, but you know, when you start building things, you don't know if you're gonna have issues or not. I mean, I know they're hoping that they don't, you know, but putting a whole septic field and all that other stuff, so. You know,
We might want to like open for like 3 months
Yeah, August, September, October, thinking.
this year, just to kind of get an idea.
They're considering a soft opening, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Then we did talk about the, I forget the name of the law, but for Casella as a regional
Impact,
regional meeting, whatever.
HB 1221.
HB 1221, thank you. And
I don't know where that came from.
at this point, we're holding off on that meeting, just kind of seeing what happens, you know, because if there is a moratorium, then we probably hold off until the moratorium's over, because there's not a whole lot of sense in having all the municipalities get together to say what they have to say. But so we're ready to go forward with that, but we're putting it on hold for now.
Thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I just didn't have my notes and I can't, sorry.
Smith from FEMA.
Oh, sorry, and there was one thing, I don't know if you guys want to look into it, but Carl was surprised at the $1,400 for the amount of time that should have been spent. I mean, he doesn't know, you know, but he said you might want to look into that, but
The legal time.
the legal fine.
With the legal bill?
Yeah, he was really surprised.
I've been surprised at all of their bills.
If I understood him, he thought basically there was one phone call.
Yeah, 20-minute phone call and then a follow-up email. So,
I mean, there's usually some
sure.
background research,
Yeah.
but I think that's what we've been seeing across the board.
So I just want to throw that out there because he was surprised. He said, you guys might want to look into that, but I don't know how you look into it. You know,
Yeah, they spent 2.4 hours, is what he said in the invoice.
Well, I think there were multiple things on there, wasn't there? Regarding 1221, HB 1221.
It could be, let me,
Cause that doesn't add up to $1,400.
No, that, you're right. And that was on 9/16. So that was work on issues and exchange email. Receive and review email regarding HB 1221, that was 0.2 hours. And then 2.5 hours review and receive and review email from planning board chair. Consider and analyze question, prepare an outline response. And then,
So, did you ever get their fees, like Jen Green was saying, sometimes
Yes.
you did get their fees, so
Yes.
does that apply into that?
No.
Okay,
Minimum charge, no.
okay.
you know, with all the things that, with the first bill that we were not happy with, they did, adjust it by $782, which is across the board, you know, some of that, but
Well, we haven't paid them for November, December, or January, because I don't have answers on those invoices, so
so,
I don't know when you guys want to address that. But they've only been paid through October.
Probably Monday. So I'll look them over this weekend.
I don't think we have to meet on Monday. It would be a working session.
No, we meet Monday.
It's a tentative working session, if we have to.
because we signed the warrants today.
We signed the warrants today, so I don't think we need to.
So Jeanette, you have an amount, you just don't have invoices?
No, I have the invoices, but because I'm left out of the loop on 98% of all the legal stuff, I can't reconcile them. So the select board members get the copy of the invoices and they have to then reconcile them or question what they question, talk to each other, and then approve the invoices. I don't pay it until I get an approval from the select board because I can't reconcile it.
So I know one of the things that we questioned, you reached out, I know you sent an email, and then we talked in our meeting about, I don't think they're gonna adjust it.
But they should, because it wasn't requested, it wasn't a requested service by a select board member or by the select board,
When he looked over the letter.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like if I send him a bunch of stuff, he's just gonna look at it? Me as like a resident, or say Chris or Tom sends him a bunch of stuff, he's just gonna look at it and then charge the town for it?
or like,
That doesn't seem right.
Casella sent a letter to him asking about the special town meeting, and somehow we were, as a select board, were in the loop, so I wrote back and said, you don't need to do anything, because, you know, it's on the website, you know. But
He
was
asked-
gonna,
He asked about the meeting, if there was a meeting and what it was about, and was it posted, and yeah,
Casella asked our legal counsel that?
yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Nate might be confused about who he's supposed to be taking direction from.
Was Casella paying for it?
well, we said, just don't do anything, but there was a letter from John Swan that was copied to legal, and he spent quite a bit of time on it.
2 or 3
And-
hours.
Yeah.
It was like
And-
$500 or $600 charge.
Yeah, I think it was $299, $300 was it? I'm trying to find it, there are too many notes here, but we didn't authorize him to do anything,
We mentioned that in the Zoom meeting with them too.
yeah, and he didn't back down on it.
Can we, give a direction in writing to our law firm that they are not to communicate with anyone other than town officers?
So it should be.
We could, that should be, I mean, that's just, I guess, we haven't done
Standard
it because it'd
practice.
be assumed. I make a motion that we go back to the Mitchell Municipal Group. Our legal bills would have been substantially less for this amount of work. And our turnaround time, so we had one issue that we talked to them about this issue back in December. Then we gave them the go-ahead to do it on January 3rd. We didn't get a response drafted until February 11th.
Wow.
And that was after I had followed up with an email. When he was here for a special town meeting, I asked him verbally. And then, so the response time is just not, the turnaround is not very good either. There have been a couple of issues like that. So, again, I'll have a motion, I make a motion that we go back to the Mitchell Municipal Group.
I'm not gonna second it. I mean, we can bring up the DES letter, but it's just gonna be a dead end.
Well, I think there needs to be a little bit more discussion about that, to be honest. Do you want me to provide some background, or?
You can, but we're gonna bring it up again anyway.
Okay, so we're skipping that today?
Because there's only two of us.
Well, 2 is a quorum.
Yeah, but you're gonna say no, and I'm gonna say yes.
Well, I might convince you to say,
You were not gonna commit to me. Yeah, I know you're gonna try.
well, I actually have another approach that we could use, so.
True. You know, all the stuff we did with Mitchell did not cost.
I know.
So, I have a friend who is a lawyer and was a select board person for many, many years, and she was surprised at our town's legal fees.
They've gone up substantially, starting in September, when we changed firms. Yep.
Okay, so we're not doing anything on the DES letter?
No.
Sorry. All right,
Election and town meeting prep.
so I sent out an email to the people who usually work with us. The response has been pretty decent so far. So we should be covered for that. Found out from the SAU 36 that the towns are supposed to tabulate their ballots. They're not supposed to be taken to the school district for them to tabulate. So we'll be doing that night. I've already reached out to some people who have counted for us, and some of the people that are counting that usually come and count are on the ballots, so they can't count our ballots, so we will have them count the school ballots. So we're good there. I need to know what schedule the select board will have in representation at the election. Excuse me.
I know Tom likes the mornings, so I'll do the afternoon and night.
Yeah, well, we all have to be here tonight.
I'll do, yeah,
We've got town meeting,
town
yeah,
meeting.
Yep.
But afterwards,
The county.
Yeah.
and counting.
oh, and county?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Eric.
We're on the select board.
You have
We have a
forgotten.
responsibility here.
You have forgotten all those fun nights we've had together. Count.
How can the town have it like a voting day and then do town meeting on a Saturday?
They
Because-
have to vote for it. They just
Does
have
it
to
have,
vote
can
for
you
it.
still do it the way we do it? It doesn't have to be SB?
SB2, they have a deliberative session, which is kind of like our town meeting at night, and then they vote afterwards. They have just a
So I think it would
ballot
be
vote.
great if we voted, and then
You could do
it got
town meeting on
counted,
a Saturday.
and then we have the town meeting, like on Saturday.
I think you
I
can
don't-
do that. I think it has to be, I
And
think
I
it
can
has to
honestly
be
say
a
I
vote.
stayed here until 3 a.m. And it's a
I
lot.
think last year was after 1, weren't it?
'Cause we
I
weren't
think
even
I
starting
left.
counting till after the-
But the year,
And then it makes it even better for the people that have to go deliver stuff.
yeah, they have to drive to a troop F and drop off and the school stuff. I was just curious.
I
It would-
think it has to be, it has to
town.
be a
We
town.
should look
Town
about
meeting,
that.
I mean, town meeting voters may, polls, blah, 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 blah.
I don't know if it'll be in there, it's probably in an RSA.
Yeah, I may have that.
No, but you have the Tuesday you come in and vote, and then
Yep.
you on Saturday you would know all the results, and then it would be,
Well, I mean, like some towns go to ESB2, which is just a whole different approach, but that would have to go to town meeting.
We don't want to become an SB2 town.
what
Really?
I don't-
think we should.
I don't think we want to be an SB2.
SB2?
Why
No.
not? I don't,
I think it's just a lot of extra work, and we're a really small town. It's usually for bigger towns.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a lot of extra work and a lot of additional expense.
Meetings when held. A meeting of every town shall be held annually on the second Tuesday of March, or in accordance with RSA 40:13, if that provision is adopted in the town. And I believe that's the SB2. For the choice of town officers and the transaction of all other town business.
So you have.
So it has to be on the same day, on the,
Because they're not
Second,
going
third Tuesday
counting
of
votes
March.
until 3 a.m. Who's a thought?
Jeanette,
Yes.
you've got me down for ballot clerk. Is that okay for a candidate?
You cannot touch the ballots, but you can check people in.
Okay, just check.
You just can't
It's
touch
fine
them.
with me.
You cannot touch the ballots, but you can check people in.
Got it.
Yep. So it just means you'll do the book.
I have to check another RSA. Optional provisions. Any town may at an annual meeting vote to conduct the choice of town officers elected by an official ballot and other action required to be inserted on said official ballot on the second Tuesday of March or on the second Tuesday of May if the town has adopted the provisions of RSA 3194A and authorize the selectmen to choose another day for the second session of town meeting for the transaction of all other town business. Upon written application of 25 or more voters addressed to the selectmen, the following question shall be submitted to the voter at such annual meeting. Do you approve of having two sessions for the annual town meeting in this town? The first session for choice of town officers elected by an official ballot, another action required to be inserted on said official ballot, and the second session on a date set by the selectmen for transaction of other business. So I guess we can, but it
yes,
has to be you'd have to go to town meeting.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, and it's too late
Well,
for.
It's too late for this one, but I just think, I mean, people don't realize when you know now, you're here until 3, 2 in the morning, and then,
And I've wondered about the more of an automated system, but for such a small town, it probably wouldn't be worth the cost and the time to.
The way Jay's got it
No,
set up
because you
now,
can't-
it goes pretty quick.
Hmm?
The way Jay's got it set up.
Yeah, but you still have to hand count.
you still have to hand count, but you also still, you can't do it until
That's
everybody's
over.
in the room to do it if they're in the meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the other thing, is you can't count the votes and then have the meeting.
so if the meeting lasts until 11 or 12 o'clock,
It becomes an issue.
I mean, I guess you can say we're not counting ballots until Wednesday.
can you do that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's
it's
just
just kind
food
of
for
crazy
thought
to be counting
in the
days
future.
at midnight.
I mean, then
Yeah.
you'd have
I
to
don't-
worry about securing them and all of that.
Yeah.
Put them in the office that has an alarm,
with a vault.
or you put them in the vault.
Well, we should
Sealed.
certainly think about this for future years.
Okay.
Why? You guys don't like being here till 2 a.m.? Come on.
I know you
It's
get
so
a little
much fun.
diggy. You know, it's like, oh, I just want to go home.
Okay, so we can assume that Tom will be here in the morning, Joe Beth in the afternoon, and Eric in the evening.
Joe Beth can't be here. Can you?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
I can be here.
Okay.
Yeah,
We just cannot touch ballots.
oh.
but I can oversee.
What time do you want me here?
Hmm?
Want me here a little earlier?
I just have to be able to go home and let my dog out and feed her before I come back for, so like 4 or 5 o'clock.
just
I know
bring
you
her.
leave. You know, if I can be gone
Just bring
from,
her.
I can get out at 2 and
okay,
I can be here about 2:30.
okay. I mean, I'm okay until probably like, if I can head off like around 4 or 6 or something like that. And head out for a while and then come back.
Probably not 6. The meeting starts at 7.
Yeah.
I need to be back by, you don't want me,
You got to be in the meeting. You're a select board member. Nice try, though.
well, if I came back at 6, so.
And then you
Okay.
have
Yeah, if I leave
campaign
it.
outside. And you have campaigning outside.
Oh, that's, you're gonna do that for me, right, Carol?
No, unfortunately, I have to work.
Oh.
I hope it's as warm as it was last year.
Oh,
That's true. Is it cold out there?
Yes.
It was windy.
That's nice of you, Eric.
I was out there all day though.
I was 3 years ago, and it was cold, it was windy, it was blustery, it was cold.
Yeah, it was.
Do we have anything else?
So what time do you want me here?
Just when you get here.
Whenever you get there.
4 o'clock.
4?
4 o'clock, that gets her out of here and back by 6:30.
So I'll just finish the day. I'll work the day.
So, is it accurate to say that we don't need to meet on Monday?
Yeah.
From meetings. We've had a lot of meetings. So no working session on Monday.
No.
Because we got our warrant signed tonight. It'll be posted tonight. Okay?
You don't have to post it tonight, since you have until Monday, you could post it tomorrow.
If I come to work tomorrow, I'm over 40 hours already this week. I'm pretty caught up. Now that that report's out of the way.
Other comments?
I do. Sorry. No, please go ahead. Well, I was just curious what happened. I asked you a couple meetings ago as far as the contract with Casella, and then there was something about the law saying that it had to be voted on by the town when we switch carriers, or I don't know what it's called, but I had asked if you guys were then going to put a warrant article together for the town so that we could legitimize what hit that contract. And I don't know what warrant articles are being put forward, and I just was wondering, did you guys do anything about that?
You were gonna check with the attorney, weren't you? About that?
He said wait till town meeting.
Okay, all right,
You should
so,
wait till the town meeting?
so it'll be new business at the town meeting, and can we bring up the vote at the town meeting, even though it's not?
Legally? Where it contains money?
It doesn't really contain money because the appropriation is there regardless of whether it's Casella or someone else.
Okay.
I mean, my main concern is I don't want the town to be sued by somebody who says, we didn't do this. It's- So Michael,
So, we're supposed to wait for town meeting, did he say wait and do some?
The warrant articles.
Yeah, but you should have done a warrant article to go on with what we just approved to go on the warrant article.
He didn't, I don't think he had a problem with it. The contract.
It's
I'll double
not,
check with him, but
it's not the contract, it's the fact that, was it 149, I can't remember the citation, said that it had to go to the legislative body.
I have to check with him. That's in front of me.
I would assume, but I'm not exactly sure that could be brought up as other town business. Which
And
is
will the select
Article
board-
13.
and will the select board bring that up?
I don't know if it has to be the select board,
I just would prefer it be the select board.
yes.
Seems like it's their job.
You know, I thought that you and Tom were going to do that and just bring something forward. I kind of said deal with it, because I hadn't voted against it, and I'm doing, trying to do a lot of other things for the town.
I'll just contact him and ask him again.
I just have a couple of things on the minutes. One is on the 20th of January, where Pam made a comment, these comments weren't included in the minutes, and they were signed, and I think they need to be revised and be put in. The comment that Pam made about, the budget and wanting a copy of it, and that they post them online in Lisbon, and that was in there, but Jeanette's comment afterwards was not in there. About Pam should move it. That needs to be added. If we're gonna say it at a meeting, it needs to be put in the minutes. And the other one is the 27th, was a working session, where you did the dedication of the book. And Tom wanted Vic, and Eric seconded it, and Joe Spath's comment was uncalled for. I'm not even gonna repeat it, but it needs to be put in there, and if you don't remember it, I can get you word for word for it. But it needs to be put in there. Because it was totally unprofessional and uncalled for.
So we got 43,000 from FEMA,
Yes.
and where's that money gonna go?
I believe you gotta wait till town meeting to
It'll be
find out.
handled at the public hearing for receiving the money.
Okay, so we're gonna have a public hearing for it.
We have to have a public hearing for anything over $10,000, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Oh, I missed that.
Yep.
I'm thinking that'll probably be after town meeting,
Uh,
or do we want to have a public hearing?
I mean, you guys have to tell me when you want to do the public hearing?
I wouldn't do it tonight of this.
Well, we
Tell
can't,
me.
we can't,
do it till town meeting.
no,
I'm trying to remember what the posting requirements are,
7 days.
so we could have it, we're meeting on the 3rd, right?
Yes, but the newspaper doesn't go out until Wednesdays.
Okay.
So
So we really can't do it until,
the next newspaper goes out on the 26th. I've not sent them anything yet, so
so we could do it on the 17th?
Are we allowed to use the Courier?
We could.
Is that still daily? No, it's not, sorry. Showing my age.
So you wanna do that on 3/17? The public hearing would just do it before our. That's
We
a
do it
question,
like 6
sorry.
o'clock?
Yeah.
Would that work?
What was the date again?
17th, St. Patrick's Day. Who's bringing the green beer?
I'll bring that.
Sweet.
That's just gross. You know what we haven't dealt with here is, Jennifer Green sent us a nice poster about respect.
Oh, the banner, yeah.
Banner.
I meant to bring that up.
Yeah, I kept waiting for you to bring it up. I thought it was great. Shall we give her the go-ahead to
Yeah.
go forward with it?
Yeah, because I already told Kathleen Pond, she's the one that found it for her.
Yeah, I think she tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we, so, I think she was gonna donate them to us, to the
Yeah.
town. I make a motion that we approve the banner that Jennifer Green presented to us.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any non-publics?
I do not.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.